大家好，我是来自中国武汉的胡慧，很开心今天在新加坡走进班尼克高级班的课程，也非常幸运可以在课后和马老师对话。好，马老师你好。
你好，
谢谢。马老师，我可以请问你是什么时候和班尼克结缘的吗？然后他给你的生活带来哪些改变？有一些什么样的好处可以和我们分享一下吗？
I came into Pranic Healing basically to help my mother, and this is exactly in the year 1998 when she was suffering from very severe rheumatoid arthritis. We had tried and exhausted almost all modalities of healing. At that point of time, every healing modality that we went in will give her some kind of relief for about a week. After that, it will come back again. So we almost have to have a total knee transplant for her. At that point of time, the rest of her joints were still painful. So she was really suffering from pain. She could not even wear her own clothes on her own because the joints were so painful for her. At this point of time, I had a friend who introduced, instead of saying introduce, I would say who almost pushed me to go to this healing center to take healing for my mother. I was very skeptical because I have exhausted all the alternative therapy techniques and everything did not work. Even the allopathy, which is only giving her steroids, were very painful. Her body was becoming bigger. So she went through pain, and because of my friend, I just was forced to take my mother to the healing center. Amazingly though, when I went there, when they did the healing for the first time, about 35 to 40 minutes, I could find her hand movements. She could bend, she could move her fingers without pain. And when they finished the healing, when she could get up without much pain, and she could hold my hand very tight. So this was something which is miraculous for me, because what she suffered for more than 8 to 9 years, this person could fix it almost in about 35 to 40 minutes. Of course, they told me the healing has to be done regularly to make it permanent, but that 45 minutes was an inspiration for me. Now, for your next question, which is connected with my transformation in my life. The first part, I went with skeptical attitude, but when I saw my mother get healed, I became happier. But still, I was still doubtful. So when I learned pranic healing and I started healing her with the techniques they taught me, that is already a great gift for me. What my mother was suffering for so many years, I could, without touching her, giving her any medicine, I could remove the pain of my mother, who cared for me so much at that time. This to me is the greatest healing that happened inside me. This is a start. As I became much softer and calmer using the meditation techniques they taught me, plus the healing which I could do to my mother to remove her pain, that confidence, that love that came in my life, people could visibly see, my friends could see the changes already. Now, how it affected my business was, earlier at that point of time, because my mother's health was going through a difficult time, I could not travel out to business. I have to stay in the place where she is, and if she's suffering, then I have to take her to the doctor. Every third day I will be visiting some doctor or the other, so I could not travel out to do business. This was already stressful. So when the healing happened to my mother, and especially with my own hands, after learning for a few days, when that happened, my body, my mind and emotion relaxed. My ability to take and choose decisions in my business, they changed. The way I treated my friends changed. Also, when I learned pranic psychotherapy, which is a major milestone in my life. Now this program actually brought me into a new dimension. the way I looked at my competitors changed. My attitude, which was negative, I knew it was energies, and I had the option of disintegrating these energies. Once these energies were disintegrated, I could bring in sweetness and love, joy, happiness into my life for a long time, and I can sustain it even when I'm working. So what I found was people were liking me without any good reason, because I was doing the same thing, but this thing, the only additional thing was I was stress-free. When I'm stress-free and I'm happier, they like me more for the same work which I did. So I don't have to change my lifestyle. I was still doing the same work, but only thing, my stress and pressure that I had in business released, and love and sweetness got added up. This affected many people in my business. My customers who were used to argue and I used to waste time in convincing them, I don't have to do anything in that direction, because the way I said, the way I could project my energy, they could get convinced easily. The respect for my product, my business, my every kind of work that I did, or any kind of service I did for them, is very greatly appreciated. Instead of getting into entanglement, there was only appreciation and love. This is from other people. This was a very, very good thing, because earlier this is where I used to struggle. When love and sweetness entered my aura and that was transforming into money, I was just healing more people. I was spending more time in learning about pranic healing, which is making me less stressful and more money. So it was like happy, less stress and good health, everything together. So it's happy time for me.
马老师，很幸运我可以在半月前走进心灵合一的课程，那堂课真的让我的生命焕然一新，我的心身灵也找到了家园。我身边很多朋友都想再听到您的声音，所以可以和我们分享一下什么是心灵合一吗？
This program, Achieving Oneness with the Higher Soul, makes every ordinary person realize that they have some portion of divine essence inside them, which has tremendous inner powers to achieve whatever they want from within. They can radiate outwards. So in one sense, in the case of very ordinary people, they will try to understand who they are first and what they have to achieve in this world. If that is clear in the heads of every person, their life will transform in less than a minute. To me, it is more meaningful that every human soul in this world tries to understand who they are first and what is the purpose on earth. In short, if I have to say, these two will be definitely clarified as an experience in this program.
我想知道，很多人不了解心灵合一，生活一样过得很幸福，那为什么需要花这么多时间和精力来学习心灵合一？它对我们的生活有些什么样的改变和好处呢？
That's a good question. People have food to eat. They have shelter. They have the house to sleep. They make money basically to eat and sleep. If you look at it from one sense, this is like very good for ordinary people. But the universal supreme energy which created the entire world and the universe, they wouldn't have created man just to eat, sleep and die. Unfortunately, the human beings of this time, they completely forgot who they are. They were presuming they are like the physical body. Like any other animal has a physical body, they also live just to eat, sleep and die. This has to change. They have to understand who they are, and this supreme energy which sent them to earth, for what purpose it has sent them, this they have to know. Once this is clarified, the entire life changes for them. This is very important. People have a lot of money, they have children, they have shelter, everything they want in the physical sense. But they still lose happiness. They are not peaceful internally. So if you analyze what is the main reason why they have so much money and still end up getting a lot of stress and disease and broken relationship, if you truly understand what is the reason behind it, one of the reasons I would elaborate based on this program is that they are forgetting who they are. Now, if they forget who they are, most probably they will think they are the body. That is why the entire focus is on making enjoyment only for the body. Based on my experience from this program, to me, when I knew who I am, when I knew how I'm using my mind, how I'm using my body for a specific purpose, I became a winner. I'll try to elaborate this question. For example, every person understands they have a brain, they have a nervous system, they have a physical body. But if you ask a medical doctor what part of the body the human beings use to think, not many people would understand it. For example, you have the eyes to see. You know for sure, you can say, with my eyes I see. You have the ears to hear. So, and you will clearly say, you will point to my ears or your ears and say, it is using the ears we hear. But if you ask a person, what do they use to think? Most probably the common answer they give me is that they use the brain. But if you ask a medical doctor or a practical scientist, they would say the brain is something like a hard disk. The brain is not necessarily used for thinking. The brain actually records data through the 5 senses. The eyes, the ears, the nose, the smell, the taste and the touch. Whatever sensation comes through the nervous system using these 5 senses is recorded in the brain. And the brain is just used only to remember, not to think. Okay, look at this question. This is very interesting. The moment you understand there is an equipment to think, then there is somebody who is using this equipment. This is also a very obvious question. Okay, my next question would be, if you are not the brain, if you are not the eyes and ears, then who are you? And what is the equipment you are using for thinking? Let's understand more from the common man's viewpoint. So, in case they come to conclusion, the mind is equipment the person uses to think, then it is very obvious from this answer, there is a thinker and there is an equipment. So, how do you name the thinker? You can give it any name. In simple sense, you can say this is a soul, right? Then the soul, if is considered as a man, then there should be an equipment which the man uses to think, that is the mind. So I'll give you a simple example. The mind will become like a computer and the person using the computer is like the soul. Now if you are not aware of this, most probably you will never be able to ask question or regulate your mind. This is exactly the problem with normal people. They don't know how to stop thinking. In fact, their biggest enemy is their mind, which is not regulated. An unregulated mind is like a boat with a hole, and if the person goes in a boat with a hole, he is going to sink. So a regulated mind becomes a powerful equipment, which means there should be somebody to regulate. That is the soul, which will regulate the mind. Now this technique should be taught to every human soul, every person in this universe. So when they understand this, their life becomes more meaningful. Question, how does it become meaningful? Because the moment they know they are the one using the equipment, they can regulate the equipment. Exactly like if they don't like a program, they can change using the remote. Think, my friends, if only you can come to a conclusion or an understanding that whenever you want, you can stop your mind from thinking. Whenever you want, you can destroy whatever thoughts that you created just like that. and refill with what you want, your life is going to be something like what every human soul would love to have. You suddenly become an exceptionally special person. This should be for every person in this world. Then suddenly the world will become full of people who have meaning and who have purpose. So pain, worry, sadness, relationship problem will die down with this.
非常感谢马老师在忙碌中接受我的访问，也希望更多的人和我一样，体验到班尼克疗愈和心灵合一的好处，让我们的世界更加的和谐美好。症的一个患者了，有20年在吃药的一个历史。然后我跟他做完疗愈，他感觉应该很不错，现在已经开始减药了。然后每天他有在做伤心静坐，然后做完之后他觉得人很舒服，所以特别感恩，谢谢。